This is the Balanced Growth Show with Dr. Travis Perry, helping successful business professionals like you achieve balance in their lives.
Welcome to another episode of the Balanced Growth Show. I'm your host, Dr. Travis Perry. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing John Bucsek. John has a 30-year tenure in the financial services industry. He's one of the managing partners of MassMutual Tri State, who together they have over 125 advisors working with their firm and manage quite a bit of clientele. He's an executive member of the Financial Planning Association of New Jersey, the Association for Advanced Life Underwriting, the Limra Research Agency Group, and Lampe Foundation as a Board of Trustees. He's also a part of the GAMA Foundation for Education Research. He is the author of the book, The Team Game, a playbook to help teams to grow. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Travis. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. It was great to reconnect in the pre-show. And, I want to start off by just asking you to catch us up to speed of this 30-year adventure you've had in financial services.
Well, it all started when I was in retail and I had a job and I had to ask for a raise. And I had moved from Pennsylvania to New Hampshire, increased business, and I felt so low, right? Like, why do you deserve a raise was the response. And I got a small raise, a whopping $100 a week. And I said to myself that I would never ask for a raise again. And, just being a math major and, liking people, I got directed to the financial services industry. My background, is a lot of sports, a lot of teamwork, a lot of team building. And as a result of that, I found myself as being a captain in many of the teams that I was part of. So I got into financial services and I ended up getting into management, which led me into running a firm and having a firm. And, and it's really my passion, right, of helping people, and, if I got someone dependent on me like an advisor, I'm going to put in 150%. So it gives me that motivation to help people. And what we do was important 30 years ago. It's even more important today because there's more information, more stuff out there, and people need our help to sift through all of that. So the passion behind it is what drives me every day.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why so many end up as entrepreneurs is they want to make a difference. They want to have freedom, flexibility, unlimited financial potential, right? And that's kind of where your journey started with really all three of those, as you've mentioned that. So that's fantastic. I'm glad that you're making a difference in the lives of others and improving their teams, which we'll get to your book here a little bit later. But let's talk about balance and growth here in this segment. As an entrepreneur, how have you scaled your business while trying to, keep that balance? Because I know it's important to you. We talked about this, at length. And I know you do a lot of training with your teams to help them to have greater balance. So talk to me, how have you been able to scale it while keeping your balance?
Well, I would say that really it's delegating. And that's a real, in a general term. But it's identifying people's unique abilities. I have a unique ability. You have a unique ability. We might share things that we're both good at. But the things that we're great at, we're probably different. And so it's identifying those people and putting them in the position and empowering them to take ownership, make decisions, not be afraid of making the wrong decision, because if they're afraid of making the wrong decision, they won't make any decision. And it's just reinforcing the opportunities that are before them and making sure that they have a balanced life also in doing it. So in a simple term or simple explanation, that's what I do.
Yeah, it's so needed. I mean, really, you're a balanced leader, someone who not only cares about balance, but is teaching others about how to have better time management, to balance their work and life overflow and stress, because that it really is about the team, and it's helping them to move forward, and that's how you scale, which is obviously evident in the book you wrote, The Team Game, which I'd love to unpack this a little bit. In the team game, you write a little bit about how teams should be structured, and you have essentially it's a playbook for teams to grow, to have this growth. What would you say is the biggest struggle that you've personally encountered, even though you're the author of this book, The Team Game? What was one of your biggest struggles that you've had with trying to grow your own team without losing that sense of balance that you care so much about?
I would say that it's making sure that their priorities and goals are always set and focused on. And what I tell people to do, all right, is when they write down their goals, make sure it's in a place that forces them to look at constantly. If you went into my house, and in particular my bathroom, there you would see a Post-it with my 5 goals that are on there. Forces me to look at it all the time. The first 2 are not business related. They can't be business related. Business, right, is what we do, all right, so that we can enjoy those first 2 points. It might be family, might be spiritual, might be getting in shape, okay? Those things are important. And so most of my peers, right, probably when they sit down with people and talk about their goals, the first thing is, okay, did you reach your sales goals or your activity goals or that goals? And when you sit down with them and say, tell me about your personal goals, how you doing with those? It keeps it real. And that's what's important. Why are we doing this? Look, financial services is a crazy business. Our business has changed dramatically in the last 3 years since COVID. And it doesn't make business fun when the market's down 25% for the year, right? And so it's so easy to get caught up in this and wanting to do this and wanting to be available for your clients at all times, in all hours. And you think you're doing the right thing, but you're not doing the right thing in the long run. And having that balance, right? I'm blessed. I have 6 children. Nothing's more important to me than spending time with my children and coaching. And I've coached every sport except soccer, and I've run the leagues because that was my priority in life, to do that. But I also knew that as the head of the family, I had to be the provider. So when I went to work, I couldn't be thinking, wow, I should be at home spending more time with my kids. And I'm home with my kids saying, I really should be at work, and I'll put more time in there because I got to, you're awake 16 hours a day. You got 112 waking hours a week. I can find 50 hours, 60 hours to put in my business. And 60 is a lot, right? I don't recommend it. But 50, that still gives me 62 hours to do everything else. And now, right, there gives the balance.
Wow.
And I think it's
golden
about
nuggets here.
Goals.
Yeah, these are great nuggets. I want to unpack a couple of them, John. You mentioned priorities, right? And I talk about this in Achieving Balance in my book. I mean, this is it's like you and I are kindred spirits on this. And that the fact that your business goals are there so you can achieve personal goals. It's so backwards in business a lot of times, where those are chasing the almighty dollar and the business growth, accolades, power, prestige, whatever, only to realize they don't have personal goals. I met a millionaire a few months ago, and we did a podcast, and I followed up with him, and he's become a client of mine, and realized very quickly he does not have any personal outlets whatsoever. And it didn't strike him until we went through this exercise of looking at his priorities that there was really nothing there. Work was his play. And so many entrepreneurs tell me, well, I love what I do, so I just want to keep doing it. Like, for what? For what? So the fact that, you have found that is amazing, that you have children, you have a family, and that's where you put your passion into. So I know that's true. I can feel it from you. And we've talked earlier about your life, and your balance is fantastic. So I love the second one is looking at your goals every day. So many do this whole vision board exercise, and their vision board tends to be stuff of like their dreams, like my dream house, my dream car, my dream relationship, or whatever it is, right? Instead of putting on their goals in life and looking at those every day. So I have that next to my bed, where I see it literally every day. It's on my screensaver on my computer. Like, it's as many places I can find it, and I see them every day. Exactly the same reason. If it's not top of mind, you're going to forget it. You're never going to accomplish it. So I love that you mentioned those things. Let's go a little bit deeper with this. What have you done well as an entrepreneur to really just combat these struggles? What has your team done well? And maybe what have you done? Let's tie this into what have you done to teach your team to combat some of these things?
That's easy. As you asked me the question, I thought of one word: fun. We got to have fun. And by the way, the people you work with, especially if you're still coming into an office, I know a lot of people are working from home, but if you're coming into an office and working, we're spending more time with these people than almost anybody else in our lives. So we got to have fun. We got to enjoy each other. And, part of my job in running the organization is I'm head of culture. An organization takes on the personality of its leader, whether you want it to or not. And so I need to have fun, right? There's a lot of stuff in my routine that's pretty boring, and reviewing trades and reading compliance reports and all of that kind of stuff that you need to do. Not really a lot of fun, but it's the people that you do it with, right? It's having fun. And it's just a little, kind of odds and ends. Steve Nash, one of the greatest basketball players, right? Out of Canada, small guy, wins back-to-back MVP twice. Like, what was his competitive advantage? I forget who did the study on it, but what they found out is he fist pumped, high-fived more than anybody in basketball. I mean, that's so important. And then empowering people to make mistakes. We want mistakes. We don't want the same mistake twice if we can avoid it. But when you empower people, they feel good about what they're doing, no matter who it is. Aristide, the person who's the receptionist at the front door. The most important, you ask her who's the most important person in the organization, she will tell you she is. Because she answers the phone, she greets the people that come into the office, she wipes down the kitchen when it's a little messy. She is so important to this organization. Why shouldn't she have a right to make a critique or a suggestion about anything that she sees and not stay in her lane? She knows that she doesn't have to stay in her lane. Nobody wants to be a receptionist forever. She's not, all right? She's in customer service. She's in part of the culture. She is the culture. And so when doing that and having fun with people, I think is the most important aspect of it. No matter what you do and how good you're doing it, it's going to get boring, all right? It's going to get tiresome. But it's the people that you're doing with and expressing your joy to see those folks. Yeah, some days, you have a bad day. Somebody cut you off driving into work. Or, you had an argument with your spouse, right? But realizing that when you walk into that door, you're walking onto the stage. And as a leader, you got to bring that energy every single day. That's your responsibility. And if you don't want to do that, you shouldn't be in leadership. But that's the coolest thing about leadership, and being able to do that and impact people that way.
Yeah, no, nuggets there. I mean, what I'm hearing, have fun. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And I love that she has that mindset, right? She's the most important person, because you're right. There's so much in business I hear all the time. The client is the most important. Wrong. As the leader, your employees are the most important. They need to feel like they belong, like they're contributing, and what they are doing is greater than them. And I've seen that in Good to Great. I've seen that in so many other research articles I've read about business, and I know you've probably even done a ton more research on this, on the team approach. But talk to me, is that, that feeling, that camaraderie, that importance, how does that translate into retention of these key employees?
When someone comes in to resign, it's never a good day, right? And there's a lot of competition. Sometimes people move, sometimes they feel that the grass is greener. It may be, right? And so when you spend 10, 15, 20 years developing and working with somebody, it really rips your heart out. But knowing that we've dealt with bigger challenges. We're going to deal with, this isn't our biggest challenge today. Whatever's going on, this is not our biggest challenge. This is preparing us for our biggest challenge. And knowing that it's going to be all right. And knowing these are the things that we did to get us to this point. We're not doing wrong, okay? We're successful. And one of the things I say, all right, even to my peers, you can't have a great organization without helping your competition to have a good organization. It's just the nature of a business. And so, again, it's my energy level. How do I deal with it, right? They're going to look at me right away. And how am I going to deal with it? And right away, because, right, of the ownership and so forth, they're going to feel that they did something wrong. It was because of what they did. And the first thing that I do is address them and make sure they know that they're doing the right things, that I'm proud of them, that I love them. All right. I use that term a lot, phrase a lot, because I do love my people. Right. They're coming to work when I'm on vacation. They're doing the things, they're making decisions that are impacting the organization and making the right decisions. And so it's to express that caring and knowing that we're in this together. The great thing was the pandemic, right? All of a sudden, boom, we can't go into the office. What does this mean? Are we out of business? Is the staff out of business? Is this out of business? And like the whole world was doing Zoom meetings, right? And it was really getting our leadership group together and maintaining that communication that we take for granted in an office. I can go down the hall, the unspoken communication and camaraderie that we can pass on that you can't do through Zoom. So we had to make a more conscious effort of bringing us together. And that helped them bring their teams together more so. And what really became a challenge, or would appear to be a challenge, within 3 weeks, we were like, this is an unfortunate situation happening in the world, but there are a lot of benefits in our business now that are happening because of it. So I wanted to give you kind of an example too. In that. So I hope that was helpful.
Very helpful. John, I know we've talked a lot today about balanced growth, how we can do this, especially with your team approach. What I'm going to be left with is having fun, looking at your goals, make sure your priorities are there, building that team unity, and really focusing on training my own team. Interestingly enough, in about 5 minutes after we're done, I am sitting down with one of my own, and he's like my number 3, and we're going to be going through his personal goals. So to make sure that they match up with where this business is going. And it's not something that we just started doing. I've been doing this for years with my employees. And I highly recommend it. I love that we're on the same page. And others who want to learn more about you, where can they go to get the book, John? Where can they go to get the team game?
Well, you can go right on to Amazon. If you wait a week, there'll be an audiobook version of it coming out. We also have a website, teamgame.com, that you can go to. And then I also, in learning about balance, Travis, I'd be remiss to say people go to read your book, read your stuff, because that's helped me impact. And sometimes you don't need to learn something new. You need reinforcement of what you think is right. And when I went through your stuff, that's what I felt. And I heard you speak. It made me feel that the path we're on is right, because it's not rocket science. Being nice and being helpful and being friendly, but understanding how much impact it really has.
Love it.
And it's really important.
That was super kind of
Thank you.
Appreciate that, man. I know we have a lot in common, and just knowing your experience as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to say that was unsolicited and very kind of you. So thank you, John. Guys, you need to get his book, The Team Game. Check it out on Amazon or go to teamgame.com. Thank you again, John, for being on the show. We really appreciate having you.
You're welcome anytime. It was fun.
Absolutely. We've got to have fun, right?
That's it.
So if you've enjoyed this, if this has been fun for you, like, share, give us a 5 rating on whatever podcast that you listen to, wherever this is, Apple, Google, wherever you're following, even Amazon. And we'd love to hear back from you, our listeners. And remember, until next time, live life on purpose.